Hey everyone, I'm Armor Gaming, welcome back to my channel and welcome to Monster Legends. I am super excited to do this monster analysis on PZ Ronin. When I first saw this monster, I'm like, he looks like Fishyyy to me. You can see it right now, trait immunity to control anticipation. This is going to be incredible. Let's see if he has 0 cooldown, 70 damage skill that's spammable. But yeah, let's jump right into this analysis. Life stat, 40,112. I should probably mention this is a light monster, which is exciting because we already have an Earth Fishyyy kind of. So to get a light version, that's going to be exciting. But yeah, life stat 40,112 in the light category, that is pretty darn high. It is actually the 4th highest tied with Scotty Beta. There are only 3 light monsters that have a higher life stat. Clippium, Krunzian Guard, and Warmaster Elvira. Next up is this powerful attacker, PZ Ronin, and again Scotty Beta. In terms of power stat, this is officially the strongest light monster in the game with this power stat of 3685. Even in terms of all monsters in the game, it's tied with Ugluk, Narok, Stake, and Lucifer the Hope Freezer. So again, very impressive. It actually beats the previous monster in the light category, Dragar, who had a power of 3630. And then, for this monster's speed stat, 3454, it's actually also tied with Dragar. His speed stat, it's okay. It's not necessarily the highest. It's pretty good, right? As an attacker, your speed stat is probably the least important stat. But now let's talk about the trait, because this is where it gets very interesting, and I already talked about it, right? You start this monster unranked, immune to control. I should also mention he's a Forsaken monster, where things get a little dicey, right? Fishyyy, not Forsaken, you can rank him up with elemental cells. Ugluk, same thing, rank him up with elemental cells. However, Ugluk doesn't have anticipation, so Fishyyy kind of has that Fishyyy kind of has that advantage there. Luckily, PZ Ronin does. The event that is released right now, if you're watching this video when it was first released, hopefully players can actually get this monster at least to rank 2 to get that anticipation and get the most out of this monster. But yeah, hopefully that's the case. At rank 4, this monster gets a self 50% damage protection, which means he takes 50% less damage. So not only is he going to be immune to control, and you can counter extra turn monsters, especially because an extra turn monster was just released, the fire monster, the fire Voltic essentially, Rekka, that'll be really helpful because you'll take 50% less damage from any attack. And nowadays, monsters are becoming very powerful. Again, this monster just beat Dragar in terms of power stat. So overall, really great trait. In terms of relics, you can hold a sword and armor, which is what you expect of attackers, right? With the sword, oh my gosh, if you have Kain sword, if you have Jakugan sword, if you have, especially Kain sword, but Solaris sword, just anything else that can deal extra damage. With the armor, Thetis' armor, you're good, you're solid. You don't have to worry about anything. In terms of books, he's a spirits, adventures, and a superhero. Alright, now let's get into tier 1, 2, 3, and of course, 4, your ranked up skills. So, tier 1, Ninja Sword, deals low light damage to enemies, applies bleed to all enemies. I gotta say, 25 damage and it's spammable for an AoE that also applies bleed. I like it. Not bad at all, 28 stamina cost. We have Tech Defense, blocked out 50% of incoming damage, so it's basically his damage protection. It's no cooldown, so you can always do this to yourself. Hacker Vision applies precision, applies life regen to itself, so you have like 2 supportive skills and 1 offense skill in tier 1. Moving on to tier 2, we have PZ Force Hack, applies corruption to enemies. I gotta say, I was not expecting this monster to have a deny skill, especially in tier 2. What the heck are we gonna see in tier 4? Are we gonna see like a 70 damage AoE that also denies? Applies corruption to all enemies. Technically, if you wanted to, you could run this monster 3 speedruns, have him deny, especially because, well, he's immune to control, so it's not like the enemy's gonna be denying him. So I am super impressed that we're seeing an AoE deny skill at tier 2 for an attacker. What in the world, Soldier Point? 3 turn cooldown, 23 stamina cost, not even a high stamina cost. Wow. Daniel's Soul applies double damage to itself. I gotta say, that's probably one of the lamest skill I've seen on a current new meta monster. Normally we'd see double damage and evasion and life regen or something crazy. This is just going back to the good old days. Let me buff myself, and it's a setup skill, not a fan. I don't think you'll be running this. Next up we have VY Quain's Fist. Deals heavy spiritual damage to one enemy, applies daze to one enemy. So we have a 50 damage, 0 cooldown, 25 stamina cost skill. Looking at the cost of the stamina, I'm not seeing any 0 stamina skill. So sorry Hukuai, sorry Ugluk, you are not, Pz Ronin is not in your league in terms of that skill. But yeah, 50 damage, 0 cooldown skill, and it dazes. Okay, it's okay. Let's move on. Spy Ninja deals moderate special damage to all enemies, applies bleed to all enemies. So an upgraded version of Ninja Sword. Instead of dealing low light damage, it is now moderate special damage, and instead of having a 0 cooldown, it is now 2 turn cooldown, and again it still bleeds. Watching you fart applies true vision to itself, gives 1 extra turn to itself. So an immediate extra turn skill that will guarantee that you do not miss any of your attacks. So right now, from what I've read, it really would just help the AoEs more than anything, and I guess that single target attack. And here we go. Stolen Keylogger deals massive special damage to one enemy, 65 damage, 0 cooldown. However, it does have a 28 stamina cost. So again, if this would have been your 0, I would have been okay if this was your 0 stamina cost skill, just to match Hukuai and Ugluk. But I mean, it's alright. You have a powerful attack, it's spammable. You are gonna need 28 stamina, but again, you have some, if anything, I guess Thetis' armor is like something to help you out, but you are susceptible to getting your stamina drained and then having no way to actually do a skill. But overall, he's powerful, right? I think if you were to get this monster unranked, I would run corruption, right? Pz4's hack applies corruption to enemies, right? Just in case you need it. And then Spy Ninja, Stolen Keylogger. You honestly do not even need Fist if you have Keylogger, because what? Look at Fist, 25 stamina cost, whereas Keylogger is 28 stamina cost. So for 3 extra stamina, you deal 15 more damage. Yeah, don't even need that. So I would say Keylogger, Watching You Fart, Spy Ninja, and of course the hack, the AoE corruption. Amazing. Alright, but with that being said, let's move on to, assuming you can get this monster ranked up, what are you going to do? What skills are you going to get? So at rank 1, you will get Monetization. That's funny. Deals heavy light damage to enemies, applies a damage boost to itself, requires cooldown. So I guess in a way an upgraded version of Spy Ninja. So you're going back to dealing special damage. It's now 45, and it applies a damage boost. So I like this AoE because it deals a good amount of damage and it sets up to your next attack. I would say against a, like a, if you're facing Dun Ross, who's dark based, ooh, Pz Ronin is gonna kill with Monetization, right? Deal that heavy light based damage to Dun Raw 3 times over, and you're damage boosting for your next attack to kill. That is awesome. I love it. So it's a great AoE. Next up we have Deception, and keep in mind, when you get Deception, you also get Anticipation. Deals moderate special damage to one enemy, applies mega corruption to one enemy, requires cooldown. Nice. So it's a single mega corruption, which will be helpful against any sort of dodge aerial monster. Ideally you want to OTK. This skill is not OTK potential, but you mega corrupt, so in those situations where you know you cannot OTK, you're gonna land the mega corruption. And again, when you have this skill, you get Anticipation, which I think is my favorite part, that you can, like, let's say a monster does an extra turn skill, then you'll be able to maybe corrupt someone if you need to corrupt, because if you can't kill them, you can corrupt. Like, it's awesome. And then you don't have to worry about missing necessarily, because you have Watching You Fart, which can give you true vision, so you don't miss your attacks. So I like it, but then you also have to be wary of the enemy's Anticipation. Moving on, we have Endurance. Blocks out 50% of incoming damage, deals massive special damage to one enemy, requires cooldown. Nice! And if I'm not mistaken, I love that it does the 50% of incoming damage, because let's say you attack a monster that has like Hiram's Shield or something, some sort of relic that deals damage against you, even that would be cut in half, so that's cool. And then 70 damage, 1 turn cooldown, 27 stamina cost. That is just powerful. Powerful, powerful. Endurance. So I think it really depends what kind of build you're going for. But assuming you get this monster rank 3, you'd want to run Endurance, right? You could run Monetization. You could run all of them and Stolen Keylogger, and then, but then you got to decide, do you want True Vision? Do you want the AoE Corruption from the unranked skill set? He could be a pretty diverse monster. Tier 4, you have Dedication. Keep in mind, Tier 4, you also get that self 50% damage protection, removes negative effects from itself, heals by 50%, deals very heavy light damage to one enemy, requires cooldown. 55 damage and you heal. And with the 1 turn cooldown, this monster can be a very tough monster to kill. Honestly, Dedication is probably my favorite skill, just because when you take this monster as a whole, when you consider everything he has, because he's immune to control, and he's not going to be denied, right? You're not going to be able to deny this monster. Because you have Anticipation, the enemy has to worry about using their extra turn skills. And then when you look at a skill like Dedication that removes any negative effect you had, so maybe you got hit with a DOT, it's gone. You heal by 50%. You have one of the tankiest lives in the game, right? You're dealing some damage to the enemy, and then they gotta try to kill you somehow, and you have an armor relic, right? And because you have watching you fart, which gives you an extra turn, like even if you, dude, like this monster is pretty good. Even if you trigger the enemy anticipation and they deal damage against you, hey, you just do Dedication and you're fine, right? You're good. That's awesome. Like, you just recover 50% of life. And then if you have Endurance, you're only taking 50% damage against you. Or if you have your status caster 4, you're already taking 50% less damage. But then if you need to reapply it with Endurance, so not only are you packing a heavy punch when you attack the enemy, you're also protecting yourself, you're taking less damage, you're healing. I love it overall. It's definitely hard to choose a skill set for this monster. You have a lot. I think if I had Pz4 Ronin, unless I knew I needed the AoEs, I could probably do without the AoEs. Like, again, unless I fight done raw, I don't need monetization. I would probably go with the single target attacks. Dedication, Endurance, Deception, watching you fart for that extra turn for sure, which kind of sucks because you want that corruption, but at the same time, like, if you know you're not, like, I think in the meta, if you know there's a Megaton monster, right? If you know there's dodge area monsters, you don't even need to AoE corrupt. You can just do that single mega corruption. You can, yeah, I like the monster, assuming you can get him rank 4, which is tough. Unranked, I mean, like, and I've been saying this a lot, like, offer taking monsters, yeah, they're cool and all, but for the majority of players, they're not really that usable depending on what league you're in, so you kind of just work with what you have. Oh, the ultimate, Becoming Elite Hacker, applies double damage to itself, true vision to itself, evasion to itself, 1 extra turn, so like the ultimate setup skill. In this situation, you would want like monetization to wipe the field, but if anything, just Endurance to single target, and that'll be powerful. Overall, I like the monster. I want to hear from you guys now. What do you guys think about Pz4 Ronin? Do you think he's easy to get, not so easy to get? Yeah, any thoughts, please let me know in the comments below. I really wish he had a 0 cooldown, spammable, 70 damage skills, just so he can be like Huguai and like Uglug, but it is what it is. Let me know your thoughts on this monster in the comments below. Looking forward to hearing you guys' thoughts. Thank you very much, and I will see you all next time.